Hello everyone, and welcome to your favorite place to get the latest on the downright controversial executive orders signed by President Trump since his return to the White House in January 2025. Some of these moves will have lasting effects on national security, the economy, and individual rights. And the others? Well, let's just say they've got the internet doing what it does best, arguing in all caps. So, buckle up, because we've got a full rundown of the executive orders that are making America something again. Let's get started. Day 1, hour 1, and boom! President Trump declares a national energy emergency. Sounds serious, right? According to the order, America is facing an extraordinary threat due to inadequate energy production, which it kinda is, but it's not that deep brew. The solution? More oil and gas leasing, more pipelines, and an energy policy that conveniently forgets that solar and wind even exist. Because nothing says energy dominance like doubling down on fossil fuels while the rest of the world sprints toward renewables. Some are calling this a bold economic move, others are calling it the let's just ignore climate change plan. Either way, the oil industry is thrilled and your gas prices might even thank him, temporarily. Now, if that wasn't enough of a climate shakeup, President Trump also pulled the US out of the Paris Climate Accord, again. Because I guess he didn't slam the door hard enough the first time. The administration says America shouldn't be handcuffed by international agreements that limit economic growth. Critics, however, argue this could set back global climate efforts and damage international relations. This withdrawal signals a shift back to fossil fuel-driven energy policies, with major cuts in federal subsidies for clean energy programs. Economists warn that this could hinder long-term job growth in emerging green industries, while supporters insist it will free businesses from restrictive environmental policies. Additionally, this move eliminates previously set carbon emissions targets, sparking criticism from environmental organizations. At this point, the Paris Agreement must feel like an ex who keeps getting ghosted, only to be called back when things start falling apart. The next order is an order that even has some former administration officials sweating. Trump has directed agencies to investigate what he calls political weaponization by previous administrations. Translation: time to dig through the closets of the DOJ, FBI, and IRS. The order establishes a special review commission tasked with auditing the use of federal power in past investigations and prosecutions. This could lead to high-profile legal battles and congressional hearings. Critics warn it could be a dangerous precedent that turns legal accountability into political score settling, while supporters hail it as a move toward transparency. Maybe this investigation will finally uncover what are they tripping on over there. In order number 4, we dive into the culture wars. In a move that has activists and medical professionals up in arms, Trump signed an order declaring that federal agencies must recognize only two sexes, male and female. It also bans federal funds from being used to promote gender ideology. This affects everything from education policies to federal employee healthcare, which will no longer cover gender-affirming medical treatments. Legal experts predict massive court battles over whether this executive order violates constitutional protections for transgender individuals. Additionally, public schools receiving federal funding will be required to enforce sex-based policies in sports, bathrooms, and official documentation. And just like that, every biology textbook in America is suddenly a political manifesto. Now, would you like to vacation at the Gulf of America? No, really, that's a thing now. Trump has ordered that the Gulf of Mexico be renamed the Gulf of America. And Alaska's Denali Mountain is back to being Mount McKinley. This order also establishes a national review board to evaluate and reverse renaming decisions made by previous administrations. Critics call it an attempt to erase progress in recognizing indigenous and historical perspectives, while supporters see it as preserving American heritage. Next up, renaming the Pacific Ocean to the Trump Ocean, because why the hell not? Meanwhile, down south, Trump has given the U.S. military a new mission sealing off the southern border. U.S. Northern Command has been ordered to physically secure the area, stop drug trafficking, and prevent illegal crossings. Additionally, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order invoking the National Emergencies Act regarding the crisis at the southern border of the United States. This declaration provides expanded powers to rapidly deploy federal resources, bypass standard legal processes, and expedite infrastructure projects to fortify border security. This move reallocates billions of dollars in military funding to border security, deploying active duty personnel and expanding detention facilities. Civil rights organizations have already filed lawsuits citing potential violations of due process and international asylum agreements. Additionally, the order includes provisions for immediate deportation of individuals caught crossing the border illegally, bypassing lengthy court proceedings. Good luck to anyone trying to sneak across the border when the military's new best friend is an AI-powered drone with a megaphone screaming, "Go home." One of his most controversial order is the one in which DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, has officially been evicted from federal agencies. Trump has axed all government-funded DEI initiatives, calling them radical and wasteful. Beyond just eliminating training programs, this order mandates a rollback of hiring practices designed to promote workplace diversity. Federal agencies must also compile reports listing all DEI-related roles and initiatives, with layoffs expected across multiple departments. Critics argue this is a direct attack on marginalized communities, while supporters say it will cut unnecessary government spending. The order also prevents federal contractors from implementing their own DEI policies if they wish to continue receiving government funding, even going so far as to personally blame the diversity policies under Biden for the recent devastating chopper plane crash. Bro went straight for the head few. Now, when HR asks about inclusion, the new answer is, we include everyone who looks the same. Now let's take a moment to consider the international response to President Trump's latest series of executive orders. From energy policies to border security, these decisions have not only stirred domestic debates, but have also caught the attention of global leaders and organizations. Firstly, declaring a national energy emergency has led to mixed reactions. Countries heavily invested in green energy have expressed concern. The European Union, for example, has criticized the move as a step back in global climate initiatives. Meanwhile, oil-rich nations see it as an opportunity to strengthen energy ties with the US. Next up, withdrawing from the Paris Agreement, again has predictably sparked outrage among environmental groups and nations committed to the climate accord. France and Germany have issued joint statements condemning the withdrawal, while developing nations, which are often the most affected by climate change, have voiced their disappointment and concern over the potential global repercussions. Moving on to order number 3, ending the weaponization of the federal government. International reactions have been more subdued. However, some human rights organizations have raised eyebrows, questioning the implications for civil liberties and governance standards. Allies like the UK and Canada are keeping a watchful eye on how these changes unfold. And also, defending women from gender ideology extremism has been met with both support and criticism. Conservative governments in Eastern Europe have expressed approval, aligning with their own stances on gender issues. Conversely, countries with progressive gender policies, such as Sweden and New Zealand, have criticized the order for undermining gender rights and protections. Executive Order Number 5, restoring names that honor American greatness, has mainly been viewed as a domestic issue, but it has sparked curiosity and some amusement globally. Nations with their own contentious historical legacies are particularly interested in how this plays out and whether it will set any precedent for similar actions elsewhere. Whereas military at the southern border has generated significant controversy, Mexico has officially condemned the militarization of the border, calling it a violation of human rights and an act of aggression. International human rights organizations have echoed these sentiments, warning of potential humanitarian crises. Executive Order #7 ending radical DEI programs has also stirred international debate. Countries with strong DEI commitments, such as Canada and the Netherlands, have criticized the move as regressive. On the other hand, nations with more conservative views on diversity policies have remained silent or even shown tacit approval. In summary, these executive orders have not only reshaped the American political landscape, but have also reverberated across the globe. The international community is watching closely, and the implications of these policies will likely be felt far and wide. From energy crises to human rights debates, the world is reacting in real time to President Trump's bold decisions. For now, DipBlab signs out. Subscribe and like to keep getting the hottest takes in geopolitics.